All right, let's dive into one of the biggest questions you can possibly ask. Seriously, it's the question that sits underneath, well, everything. All of physics, all of philosophy, reality itself. And I want you to really truly think about that. We're not talking about an empty void or a silent vacuum. We mean absolute nothing. No space, no time, no laws of physics, not even the possibility of possibilities. Was that ever a real option? Because look, the answer here, it changes everything. If nothing is actually impossible, then the existence of our universe isn't some bizarre lucky accident. It's the default setting. So here's our game plan for this journey. First, we're going to tear apart what we even mean by nothing. Then we'll see exactly why that whole idea is logically busted. That's going to lead us to a totally new and powerful way of seeing reality. And from there, we'll explore what it all means, this incredible shift from seeing the universe as a static thing to seeing it as a dynamic, ongoing performance. Okay, let's start with the mirage itself. To really get to the bottom of this, we have to be super precise. Because you know that picture that immediately pops into your head when you hear the word nothing? Yeah, that's not it. Not even close. So what you probably picture is like a big, empty, black void, right? An empty stage. But here's the thing, that's still something. An empty space has dimensions, it has a background. Absolute nothing is the total, complete absence of everything, including the stage itself. No rules, no potential, no there for anything to be absent from. It's this incredibly radical idea that we've got to wrap our heads around. Okay, so now that we've got this super strict idea of absolute nothing, let's really put it to the test. You're going to see it just completely falls apart under any kind of real scrutiny. It's not just a weird idea, it's fundamentally incoherent. And it breaks down in three major ways. First up, the expression problem. Just by saying there could have been nothing, you're using language, you're using logic, which are definitely not nothing. Second, there's the modality problem. The second you say nothing is a possibility, you've just created a whole landscape of possibilities, which is already a pretty complex something. And finally, you've got the truth problem. How could the statement, there is nothing, ever actually be true? For a statement to be true, it has to correspond to some reality. But in this case, there isn't one. And I love this quote because it just nails the problem perfectly. The concept of absolute nothing rips away the very framework it needs to even have meaning. It's a game with no board, no pieces, and no rules. It's nonsense. Okay, and this is the big pivot. This is where everything flips on its head. Because if the alternative to something isn't actually a real choice, then our entire perspective on reality has to change. Suddenly, the fact that we exist isn't the big surprise anymore. So here's the big takeaway, right here. That famous, age-old question, why is there something rather than nothing? Well, what if it's the wrong question to even ask? If the rather than nothing part is incoherent, then the question isn't why there's something. The real question becomes, since there has to be a reality, what kind of reality is it? There's a cool term for this, thin necessity. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It's not saying our specific universe with our laws of physics had to exist. Nope, it's just saying that the no world option was never on the menu to begin with. Some form of reality is the baseline. It's the ground floor. Okay, but wait. I know what you're thinking. If reality is necessary, what caused it? What flipped the switch and made existence happen? It's the natural next question, right? But see, that's where we get tangled up. Asking for a cause of existence is just like asking what's north of the North Pole. It doesn't make sense. Cause and effect, those are rules of the game inside reality. You can't use a rule from inside the game to explain the game itself. Any cause you might point to would already have to exist, making it a part of the very thing it's supposed to explain. So, if we accept that reality is necessary, that leads to a whole new question. What is it like? Is it this frozen, static block of events all laid out? Or is it something alive, something active and dynamic? So we've got these two big pictures. On one hand, you have the block universe idea, which is kind of like a finished movie on a film reel. The past, present, and future are all equally real and just there. But the other idea, the one we're digging into, is that reality isn't the movie reel. It's the playing of the movie. It's this ongoing, live performance where what truly exists is the happening, the becoming. And this quote right here, it totally reframes how we should think about time. We imagine time as this river we're all floating down, right? But what if change is the fundamental thing? This view says clocks don't really measure time. They just count regular changes, like the swing of a pendulum or the vibration of an atom. The change is what's real. Time is just how we keep score. And this is the real kicker for that static block universe idea. It has a fatal flaw. If you try to argue that change is all just an illusion our brains cook up, you've got a big problem. For your brain to create an illusion, it has to undergo real, physical, changing processes. So you haven't gotten rid of change at all, you've just hidden it inside your own head. All right, this brings us to the grand finale, the idea that ties it all together, that the whole of reality is one, single, unified performance. And the best part is, this idea of a global now is built from the ground up to work perfectly with modern physics. Yep, even Einstein's relativity. It's called the ontological global now. I know that sounds a little intimidating, but ontological just means it's about what really truly exists. This isn't about a single tick of a clock. It is the entire active performance of the universe, the sum total of every single interaction, every event, unfolding right now everywhere. It's not a statement about what we can see or measure. It's a statement about what is real. Okay, it's super important to be clear on what this global now is not. It's not some hidden master clock ticking away for the whole universe. A much better way to think about it is like a symphony. The global now is the entire performance, all the instruments playing together, creating the music. It's not a secret metronome in the background. And that's exactly why it doesn't break relativity. And this is the absolute key to understanding how this doesn't break physics. Einstein's light cones, they're all about information. They tell us what parts of the universe we can know about and when we can know it. But the global now is about being. It's about what exists. An event can be happening right now in a galaxy a billion light years away. It's part of the global now. The fact that we won't get the news, the light from that event, for a billion years is a limit on our access, not a limit on its reality. So let's just zoom out and recap. What's the new picture of the universe we've built here? Well, reality is one single ongoing performance, and it has to exist because nothingness was never an option. In this performance, to be real means you have to interact to make a difference. And this gives us a beautiful new way to see time. The past is the unchangeable record of what's happened, the future is the open space of what could be, and the present is the active edge where reality is always constantly becoming. Which leaves us with one last, and I think, pretty profound question to chew on. If the universe isn't some static museum piece, but a necessary, dynamic, unfolding performance, then we're not just an audience watching a movie that's already finished. We're part of the show. We are actors in this great performance of becoming. So what role will you play?